Well, it's that time of year again. This week and next, we'll be looking back at some of the stories and videos from 2013. We produced thousands of videos in 2013 for newsok.com. Here are some of the most memorable. And let's start on May 20th. An EF5 tornado touched down just before 3 p.m. and churned across 17 miles. At one point, the storm was 1.3 miles wide. Oklahoma lost 24 of its friends and neighbors that day. The stories and images of heartbreak, survival, and resilience started pouring into our newsroom. Here's a compilation of scenes from May and the days that followed.
It came out of nowhere, dropped like a stone. Careless betrayal, I could not believe it. And I feel abandoned. Where did it all go wrong? Truth hid in my blind spot, I could not see it. I cry out to heaven to get me through hell. In the meantime, I just keep telling myself, walk on, walk on, and don't let this sad setback break me. Walk on, and see where this detour will take me. 'Cause I've been beaten down on the ground, but I pick myself up and dust off and walk on. Sun sets behind me, and all that's ahead is a long stretch of road. God knows where it's going. Crying comes easy out here in the dark, 'cause the hardest part is the fear of not knowing. I ain't got nothing left that I can lose. The only thing that I know I can do is walk on, and don't let this sad setback break me. Walk on, and see where this detour will take me. 'Cause I've been beaten down on the ground, but I pick myself up and dust off and walk on. I'm gonna walk on, yeah. 'Cause I've been beaten down on the ground, but I've been beaten down on the ground, but I'm gonna pick myself up and dust off and walk on. I'm gonna walk on.
The Oklahoman reconnected with a number of residents impacted by the storm. Our community is strong and people continue to rebuild and help their neighbors recover. including the youngest and more.
All right, Cubs, let me see you roar.
Computer and game design teacher Dr. Victor Rook is heading up the project. Rook said he felt displaced when Plaza Towers Elementary School students relocated to the central campus after the May 20th tornado. Rook's classroom was moved to another building to make way for the new tenants, and he says it was an emotional transition and felt like his colleagues grew isolated while preparing for the new school year. So Rook decided to direct a series of music videos to help bring the students, teachers, and administrators closer together. He enlisted the help of 8th graders to star and produce the videos.
I just wanted to get the message out that we're going to be okay. And personally, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted somebody to come tell me that we were going to be okay. And everybody was a bit isolated. You know, we really weren't talking and connecting as much as maybe we should have. And so I started the project to be the change that I wanted, which was to tell everybody you're okay.
I just think they've given a positive outlook for everybody at the school, 7th and 8th grade and the Plaza kids. You know, it's just been giving them a sense of entertainment, but yet at the same time, giving them a sense that you know somebody's going to be there and that this year is not going to be as scary as it seems for some kids.
In one video, students encourage their fellow classmates to be aware of what others have done for them. The video includes music by Katy Perry and appearances by several staff members. Rook's students are producing a new video every 2 weeks. A video to make their little brothers and sisters from Plaza Towers feel welcome is in the works.
To the Plaza Tower kids, it's really emotional and really sad because when I first heard about it, I didn't really want to talk about it because I have neighbors who were in the tornado when it happened and in the school, and it hurts sometimes. And helping them is a great thing because it makes me feel like I'm a great person too, and that no one can take it away from me. It's great. And through these kids, 7th graders are always scared of going to a new school, so I mean, they need that help.
The videos will be shown in classrooms on smartboards, and once flat screens are installed in the cafeteria, students can also watch the videos while eating lunch. Rook says the students' input is key to the popularity of the videos. Also important is sharing messages of vulnerability, courage, and tolerance.
We see the kids, we see their beauty and their uniqueness and their intelligence and their talent, but they're in 8th grade, they're in junior high and 7th grade, and they don't always see that in themselves. Confidence is a big issue right now, and the kids aren't always as kind to each other as they should be. So anytime you can take a kid and put them on video, a video is a great mirror, and they see themselves, they see the beauty that we see, they see the creativity that we see, they see the wit and wisdom that we see. It's huge. So we kind of make it a viral video event where I totally believe in embracing the kids' world. This is the YouTube generation.
Tammy Baker, Central's principal, compared the videos to mini public service announcements. Baker said the videos help promote a sense of unity among the students. When we return to newsok TV, Rick Bayless sits down with Dave Cathy to talk about his career, his family, and his youth in Oklahoma City. And we'll take a look back at some of the unique works from Oklahoma artists. Celebrity chef and Oklahoma native Rick Bayless returned to the Sooner State at the beginning of 2013. Bayless spoke at Saints Heart and Vascular Institute's Celebrity Chef event. And while he was in town, he sat down with the Oklahoma's food editor, Dave Cathy, to talk about his career and growing up in Oklahoma City.
So up north you go, and then all of a sudden, was it Cleveland where you were doing?
No, I went to University of Michigan in Ann Arbor.
For TV, I was...
Yeah. Oh, for TV. Well, I went to graduate school, and I was studying culture.
Right.
So when I was at OU, I studied Spanish language and Latin American studies. Then I went to graduate school in anthropology and linguistics. And it was during that time that I realized that I was spending more time thinking about what I was going to cook for my friends than what I was supposed to be studying. And though I loved the cultural studies, I finally decided that I needed to explore more my passion for food. And I had started a small catering business. I started teaching cooking classes. I started writing a bit about food. And I realized that I could put together my interest in culture with my interest in food. And then I decided, with my background in Mexico, having lived there as an undergraduate, that, I was really passionate about it. I wanted to do that for my focus. And lo and behold, a friend of mine, it's just 45 minutes from Ann Arbor, Michigan to Toledo, Ohio. A friend of mine in Toledo called me up and said, the public television station here is looking for somebody to host a television show on Mexican cooking. It was an all-in-studio thing, and I thought it sounded like a good opportunity for me. I went down and talked to the people, auditioned for the thing, and I got it, which launched me into television. I had done so much cooking, teaching of cooking, that I really had a fluency with that.
That's
so
a performance.
It's a performance. I translated all that into the television stuff, had a great run with that. We did 26 shows. They were picked up all over the country. And I said, okay, that's enough of that. I decided I really wanted to learn about Mexico. My wife and I moved to Mexico, and we were there basically for 5 years studying all the regional cuisines. And out of that time in Mexico came our first book, which is Authentic Mexican, now 25 years old. We moved to Chicago, where my wife is from, and decided that we wanted to see what it was like to live there. And I fell in love with the city and decided that it was a big city, that's the kind of atmosphere I wanted to be in. And I didn't want to make my whole life just being a food writer. I didn't think I could do it. And I sort of went back to what I knew really well, which was restaurant stuff, and decided to open a restaurant that would feature the kind of dishes that were in my first cookbook. I mean, I had spent all this time learning to make them and to make them in an authentic way. Why not actually make them for the general public? So we opened in '87, and kind of the rest is history, because that really took off like a rocket.
Yeah, that was like the seismic moment where the earth shook and it was born. It's kind of an incredible story. I mean, it really is, all right here from Oklahoma City, which I know you still visit quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I come and visit my mother and my sister and her family.
Yeah, your mother, who is a dynamo.
She is. Yeah, she just turned 86. I said 85 earlier today, but she corrected me. No, she's 86
There's not very
now.
many women.
Now listen, this is an 86-year-old woman that just got an iPhone so that she could text me, her daughter, her grandkids, all that, because she realized that that's all we do is text each other, and
funny.
she didn't want to be left out, so she got an iPhone.
When you told the story about her making that cake and that you were concerned that it wouldn't come out, I thought to myself, do you know your mother?
Well, what you don't know about my mother is she was never a cook.
Right, but
her mother was a really good cook, and then my mother relied on our restaurant to feed her family when we were growing up. So I never thought of her as much of a cook. She had like 3 or 4 dishes she could make, and that was kind of it. Yeah. And then when we wanted real food, we would either eat at my grandmother's or at our restaurant. And so then it wasn't until really she retired from the restaurant. So she was 65 when she retired from the restaurant, and she kind of took up cooking, and now she really does cook. I mean, she's getting older now, so she's probably not delving into it as much as she did a few years ago, but hey, she just got an iPhone.
3 other videos from that interview are online at newsok.com. Now, Bayless returned to the state following the storms. He set up several pop-up restaurants to raise money for tornado relief. He also hosted a formal sit-down meal for a fundraiser as well. Now, our Dave Cathy is one busy food dude. He visited dozens of restaurants this year, including this latest eatery from the chefs behind S&B Burgers.
Well, Brian and I we actually started doing this at our 59th Street burger joint. We were doing po' boys because I couldn't come up with any more burgers for a while. I kind of ran out of ideas. So we started doing po' boys, and they sold really well. So this property came available for us, and it kind of fit our idea, being hillbilly, and so we just decided to put it together and do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We have a full moonshine bar, only moonshine. That's the only thing coming out. You want moonshine, or you want gin and tonic, we're gonna make you a moonshine tonic. Let's see, we got a Coon Ass Mountain Dew, which is ginger beer, a Cat Daddy Spice Moonshine, fresh lime, and organic simple syrup with vanilla. So the key to making the moonshine cocktails and making them perfect was the simple syrups. They each have their own simple syrup, and that really stops it from tasting like gasoline and makes it taste awesome. We're also doing, I left that out, but we're doing aged cocktails. So we're pre-making it, and then after 6 hours, all those flavors meld together in the refrigerator, and you pull it out and pour it over ice.
Very cool.
So we're the first bar that's doing that as well.
Well, we're using fresh produce and ingredients that we can get locally. Not everything's local, but as much as we can find locally and seasonal. We get a lot of our seafood from Try Our Seafood down in Florida. So it's shipped in fresh a couple times a week. We're doing alligator baby back ribs, which I think we might be the only place in town doing that right now, with slow smoked and then roasted with a bourbon molasses barbecue sauce. Those are fantastic, and we have those flown in 3 times a week right now. So we're getting ready to start raw oysters, West Coast oysters, which will be really good. I don't know, we're a little bit out of the box on our po' boys. We're not quite traditional. We don't claim to be Cajun food, hillbilly food, what we like to call it. So that's why we came up with the name. It's a little spin off the traditional po' boy. And we also do the rice bowls, salads, which are on fresh spinach right now.
All right, your location.
1 Northwest 9th.
Conveniently
Downtown.
located across the street from another place that's close to it.
Man, that S&B burger joint is the...
As we mentioned, the food dude Dave Cathy went to dozens of local restaurants and regional restaurants this year. Be sure to check out all of those, including the Open Flames series that he hosts. Those videos can be found on our website at newsok.com. Joe Smith is a man with a common name and a most unusual form of art. The dreams of the 86-year-old Western Oklahoma native took flight this past February.
Joe Smith ran a bulldozer for half a century and has a most unusual form of art using horseshoes. There's a blue and yellow model of a Stearman PT-17 biplane in his shop, and it was from this that Smith took the dimensions for his biplane horseshoe creation. That's right, a plane made of horseshoes. It's mounted on a massive pipe and it spins.
How many horseshoes did you use just on the wings?
7 across times 26 long times 4, top and bottom. And this is half size of the original plane. It's been on my mind for 3 or 4 years. So that's one way to get it off your mind. Get it done and do something else.
What's your next get it off your mind project?
I don't know. I'm still thinking. I don't want another big project that takes 6 months to a year. I think the little donkey up there is one of the neatest things I've done.
Why is that?
Well, I think he's a masterpiece, but we got the donkey over at Hydro. My sister had me go over there and get the donkey, and then Ron let it down there at the shop and brought it out, and I built the donkey. But I think it's pretty fabulous.
Joe says horseshoes are pretty forgiving and easy to maneuver. He's also worked with wheelbarrows, wrenches, steam engines, and other metals to build decorated fences, weather vanes, and more. Talented guy right there. So is James Cauldron, another local artist who uses unique material for this work. Cauldron mainly works with cattle and bison horns. His passion almost cost him his hand.
I got started when I was pretty young, just out of high school. There's a gentleman named Frank Adcock made them, and I always wanted one. I never really had the money to buy one, and I thought, well, one day my brother gave me a buffalo horn, and I thought, well, I'll just try to make one myself, and it stuck, and I've been doing it ever since. What I do is just take a horn, and some horns I get more buckles out of than others. This one's had one cut out of it, but that blank that I cut out of it, from there, I put it in a steam, and I steam it for 15-20 minutes, and then it goes into a hydraulic press, and it sets for about 24 hours. I change the shape of it, and from there I shape the buckle and cut the hoe out where the belt goes through. I was over in the shop here at the headquarters, and I was cutting some heavy cable with a hydraulic press, and got my arm hung in it, and it cut my hand off. And wife took me to the hospital, and then they flew me in a helicopter to Tulsa and reattached it. We argued about it. I told her there wasn't no sense going back and getting the hand, and I told her that you know, it was a waste of time, and she said that she wasn't leaving without it. And thank God she did, because I wouldn't have it without her. I loved making the buckles and enjoyed doing it, and had people want them, and I just made myself, you know, used vices and vice grips, and made quite a few buckles with just one arm, hand, and eventually I just started making myself use it more and more, and yeah, it was probably the best therapy I had.
Calderon's buckles range from $100 to $200, depending on the details the customers want. Buckles fit a 3/4 inch belt or a standard size belt. One elementary school teacher has found a unique way to teach her students about the Revolutionary War. Each year, 5th graders at Schwartz Elementary School don traditional attire and teach younger students and adults about key figures from the time period.
We got to pick who we wanted to do, and well, I picked her because her name I kind of liked, Mercy Otis Warren, and she sounded interesting.
I heard about Nathan Hale, and I wanted to be him because I wanted to be a spy.
I was the First Lady of the United States of America.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty, or give me death.
The project's called A Moment in Time, a Living Museum, and it's a Revolutionary War museum. The kids had to research Revolutionary characters, so they choose a character and they do the research. They have to actually write a 5-paragraph biography about them, and then from their biography and from their research, they choose something that tweaked their interest.
During the Revolutionary War, I went to visit with soldiers, and I helped them when they were sick, wrote their letters to their wives about how they were doing.
I got caught by the redcoats, and so for spying, that's the treason for hanging. So I got hung.
They're like a talking painting. So as people come up, they have to tell their story over and over again. So we have parents come, we have grandparents come, aunts, uncles. I saw a minister from a church that they have kids in their congregation.
It was really fun because they would kind of, after you were done, they would ask you more questions about, you know, what about this and what about that. So it was a lot of fun.
I'd love to meet him for real and actually do what he did. And he helped adopt the Declaration of Independence. It was really fun learning about it.
She didn't like being the First Lady, but it sounds fun.
The not fun part was trying to get into this because, like, the arms, like, they're like a little bit small.
They look forward to it. I've got 2nd graders that will come up and say, I know who I want to be. I know who I want to be when I'm in 5th grade. I know.
You can find all these videos and plenty more online at newsok.com. Happy holidays, everyone.